Hello, good morning. Yes, I had to adjust the camera. Hey, we have a new gem. I bought it recently, and I had one like this. Well, I think half a year ago, and then because I needed some more space and maybe a little bit more cash, I sold it. And immediately after selling it, I regretted it, and I will tell you why. This is the Ricoh XR2. I bought this camera on a Dutch local website, and the seller wasn't sure whether everything was working or not. So I said, okay, well, I gave some tips to check how you can check if it works, but the result was that I thought it was not working. So we agreed on a price of 20 euros. 20 euros for the complete camera set, which is, when it was not working, it was maybe a good price for only the lens, if the lens was good enough. But if the camera was working, then it would be a very good price, because these cameras tend to go, when fully functional, between 30 and 50 euros, depending on the lens there. So why did I regret selling it? Well, first of all, it's a aperture priority camera, and second of all, it has the same features as the Olympus OM-2, only for what we say, a quarter of the price. And the camera has a lot of possibilities. It has a K-mount lens mount, so that means there is a lot of choice in lenses, and combined with the aperture priority, which I really do like, and the possibility to operate it fully manual, so you can choose the shutter speed and aperture, the combinations yourself. If you want to have aperture priority, you switch this dial to auto. Well, let's first let me tell you when the camera came to me, because this camera now, it looks very nice, but it wasn't. I will show you. Yes, it came in this camera bag. Well, as you can see, it is totally degraded. It's almost eaten by time, and I can tell you the camera was looking similar. Very, very dirty, extremely dirty, a lot of dust, even, the fat dust on it. And I cleaned it. I put in batteries, and the light meter wasn't working. But as you can see, you can still see a little bit of corrosion here of what was there. It was heavily corroded. So I took out the battery compartment, and I saw there was a lot of corrosion. I cleaned the corrosion with my own mixture, my own procedure, and that is, I have this, it's a sort of polishing paste. It's a rather fine polishing paste. First of all, the most of the corrosion, I scrape it off with a screwdriver, small screwdriver. Then what's left I use with a little cotton stick, and the polish paste, I clean the most of that corrosion that is left. Afterwards, I take a little bit of WD-40, and I spray a little bit on a cotton stick and clean with the cotton stick with the WD-40 the remains of the paste and the corrosion. And then at last, I use 96% alcohol on a cotton stick to clean the rest. The result is a pretty clean battery compartment. So I put in the batteries again, and to my surprise, and what I've actually hoped for, it worked. The light meter works, the aperture auto modus works very well. Changing of the film sensitivity works well. Actually, everything works well. Let us go briefly through the possibilities of this camera. Above here you have the shutter speed dial, and it goes from X and it has positions from 4 seconds, mind you, to 1,000 of a second. So, and there is the X and the bulb position. The shutter speed for flash is 125th of a second. When you put it on auto, it is aperture priority, and on this ring on the camera you select the aperture. With this ring you focus. That is what also was wrong with this camera. The focusing of this camera was very stiff at some points very light, at some points there was not, by the feel of it, not even some lubrication or some grease in it. So I took off, you can see some little screws here, there are 3 of them. You unscrew them, not totally, it's not necessary to unscrew them totally. You can take off this ring completely, and when you've taken off that ring completely, you can enter the part that is handling the focusing. You can access the thread of the focusing ring. So, and when you put it in this position, the thread is in the most up position, and then you can add with a little pencil or a little brush the grease on the thread of the focusing mechanism, and then you turn it back to get the grease, you know, in every layer of the thread, and you repeat it several times like I do now, and then, well, then it's fixed. So now when I got the lens, the focusing was, you know, from very stiff to extremely light and no lubrication present or whatsoever. It focuses now like it's, you know, a very brand new lens. There was also some fungus on the lens, but it was behind the front lens, and it was very easy to take it off, because when you have taken off this ring, like I just said before, you can easily access the ring to unscrew the first element, and then you can clean the first element. And the last element, there was also a little bit of fungus, but I didn't have to take it out anyway, I just took off the lens. So, sorry for this little side path, but it was just to give you an idea of the general condition of the camera. So it was very dirty, basically not working, and the lens was, well, so-so. So I left you with the aperture ring and the focusing. Focusing, of course, goes through the viewfinder, and there is a diagonal split image, which I like very much, because when you take pictures like this or like this, you always have the split image to use. The camera also has a little button here. You can see here there's written a C, that's for check. If you put it like this, then the light meter inside the viewfinder will go to the position around 1/500th of a second. And that means that if it goes there, that the battery is okay. Now, here you can set the sensitivity of the film. You have to press this button, and then you can set the sensitivity, ASA or DIN. This little one here, you can have a preview of the depth of field. Well, the cocking lever to fire the camera, like this. The shutter is locked. To unlock it, you have to put the lever up to this position until you see the red dot, and then you can press the shutter release button. Nice little thing. There's some 2 nice features on the back also. With this one you can put the mirror up, and that can be handy if you make on a tripod a long time exposure with a wire. Then the camera might, you know, vibrate a little bit when the mirror goes up and slams onto the top of the camera house. To prevent that, you can do this. You just you find the object you want to photograph through the viewfinder, and you set your tripod, you lock your tripod, and then you put up the lens, the mirror, and then when you fire the shutter, only the shutter opens, and not you do not have the vibrations of the mirror going up and down. As you can see, there's another little button here. It says ME, and that means multi-exposure. You can do multi-exposure exposures on this camera. I seldom use it, but the possibility is there, so you know, it's very nice. Of course, the self-timer, the lens release for the K-mount. Again, K-mount lenses are a lot of lenses on the market. Really, it's astonishing. And you know, you can again, you can buy this type of cameras, the XR2 and also the XR1. Great cameras for between 30 and 50 euros with great lenses. This is a Ricoh 1.7 lens. It is, well, better than moderate, this lens, really. It has a very nice bokeh. It is sharp. I really love it, especially at 5.68. Everything is razor sharp. Well, on the back, again, well, here's the rewind release button, and here you have the screw for the battery chamber, and here for the tripod. Some little mounts for a wrist wrap, and here you have, if you want to have a external flash on the X position, you can put the socket there. And well, yes, that is, and of course self-timer. I want to tell you something more that makes this camera very special, and was also a reason for me why I felt sorry I sold it. In the viewfinder of the camera you see lots of information. What you see is, on the right side, you see the exposure time. And you see the measured exposure time through a needle that goes up and down depending on what you set here or here on the shutter speed. And there is another one, and that is a blue one. And that blue one indicates what you have set here. So if I've set here the shutter speed at 1/500 of a second, I can see in the viewer that I've put the shutter speed on 1/500 of a second, but I can also see through the needle what shutter speed is being indicated. So I can check whether the shutter speed I put here, if it resembles the value that is measured by the light meter. If not, I can adjust this one to bring the shutter speed indicator back to the level where the light meter needle is. When those two levers correspond, then you know that the chosen setting here corresponds with what the camera has measured. Another thing you can see in the viewfinder is your aperture setting. The older they get, sometimes the harder it gets to read, but on top of the viewfinder there is a little window, and there you can read actually the aperture value you have chosen. And that information comes through here. It's a little window, it's a little optical trick they have done, the reflection of this going here, because there's no mechanical involved inside. It's only, it reads the value somewhere here, because no matter if you have, like, even if you would have here a value of 32 or here of 1.2, it gives the value it is set. It gives the value that is set right under this window. So, and that is very nice. So within the viewfinder you have the information to focus on your target. You have the information on the aperture you've been chosen. You have the information on what shutter speed it should be. And you can see what shutter speed you have chosen. Whatever you change, you can change without leaving your eye from the viewfinder, because everything is being corrected in the viewfinder. And that is something I love about this camera. You know, you can keep your target in focus and just adjust, and you see the information you adjust in your viewfinder. I love it. Now about the build quality. This camera has lots of metal parts, and you know, like the lenses, you can buy the high quality lenses, whatever you want, because it has a Pentax K mount. There are also lots of good lenses for sale for this mount, which cost 20-30 euros. Excellent lenses. This standard lens also, it's, you know, it's good. It's just very good. It feels very thoroughly built, this camera. It's right, nice heavy, not too heavy. You know, when you do this and you can hear cling, you know, it makes a nice, very solid sound. Everything you touch on this camera, it's very solid. The shutter, it's a metal shutter. You know, everything in this camera is, well, built to last, you know, and that is why I've had several Olympus OM-2s. I have made several videos on the OM-2 to indicate what alternatives there are. And I am a fan of Ricoh cameras because from the compact cameras, the rangefinders, the zone focusing cameras and SLRs, I simply love them because they're so well built, they are affordable, and they're just fun to photograph with, you know. So if you're into photography or want to start again, or just want to have another camera body where you can put in an extra film you want to use or to try, you know, take this in consideration because it's really a very nice camera. Like the OM-2, however, this camera cannot operate without batteries. If there are no batteries in it, only the shutter speed will go, I think, 1/125th of a second, and that's about it. But for the rest, you know, it runs on LR44 batteries, widely available. I always have 2 of those batteries in my wallet in case batteries dries out. So yes, you know, it has great potential, this camera, and it's undervalued and underrated. So, well, I hope I could transfer my enthusiasm for this camera a little bit. And, you know, if you have questions or remarks, please put them below and I will reply to you the moment I see your remarks. Again, thank you very much, and until the next time.